Should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow. So I'll make the joke here, it'll work. Sorry, Mike, but that means I'm the hottest thing inside the video right now. Yep, so blue and black, we're looking for them to take shape or move, right? Head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. So there is, again, there's always going to be blue and black in there because obviously glass, windshields, anything, aluminum cans on the ground are always going to be that blue or black because it's going to be colder than everything else. So again, there's a lot of debunking that goes along with this. Does this capture something every single night? No, it does not. I capture about 4 to 5 pieces on this per year that I will put my stamp of approval on. And yes, those are people walking towards us, kind of mentality. So you'll kind of see as we kind of move along, I do love to throw stats at you. I am not a TV show host where everything is going to be a ghost, just so you guys have that idea. So with this one, for just a moment so I can show her a little bit about that operation, and then I'm going to do like 1 or 2 round robins to see what's going on with your devices, and then I'll pull us back here to give us all the answers. Do you have any other numbers I need to worry about, by the way? So that 3.7 was the last one?
Yeah, that's the last one.
Okay. All right. Everybody spread out. Tana, you're with me for just a moment. Get to work, everybody. You guys,
Can you ask me the questions? Yeah. Okay. What is your maiden name? Where are you buried? How old were you when you died? What else was there?
I just had the red hot chili peppers.
Uh-oh, red hot? Red hot.
Hot?
Are you hot? What people? Living.
2415.
2415. Where are you buried?
How old are you? What's your name? I actually heard name. I was like, name.
What is your maiden name?
What president was a pallbearer for your funeral? How old are you?
What was the number they said?
Say what?
What was the number they said?
24 something. 2415 or something?
5?
Excuse you. What was that number you said? Please repeat. one that wants to communicate. My name is Anahita. Would you like to communicate anything to me?
Alright, you two. We switch up? Like, what's happening?
I got nothing.
Okay, so you got nothing so far?
Nothing.
Have you turned your volume up?
Numbers.
Yes.
What numbers did you hear?
It's like, I think it was 2415.
2415. See? There you go.
Okay.
So it's the
And red hot
simplest,
chili peppers.
silliest things. It's not always going to be a
Okay.
direct answer because, again, it's radio chatter. Have you
Right.
seen the movie Transformers?
No. Well, yeah, kind of.
Kind of. All right. You know Bumblebee
Yeah, I
is
know,
that.
yeah.
So Bumblebee doesn't have a voice box.
Right.
He uses the car radio to talk back to the humans.
Right.
Same thing in your hand.
Okay.
So that's kind of how you have to look at that thing. So
Okay.
you don't know that 24 and 15 aren't two numbers that are relevant
Okay.
in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So with your camera, it is small, but it is one of the most interesting pieces to watch. I send all videos to YouTube, so if I'm not following up with you as much, now you know why. I'm going to go back to the office and watch it on a computer. You're going to be able to watch it on your TV screen. Being
Okay.
a videographer isn't always the most exciting job with me, but again, with that particular camera, when we do find something, it is a holy shit moment. Like, I'm just going to put it out there.
Okay.
And they are, like I said, about 4 or 5 per year. Like, I'm like, holy cow. Other ones are kind of like, okay, we could have had something here. Was it a can on the ground? It didn't move. We'll see. But yeah, do I have like full-blown people walking towards us? I do. Like, very cool stuff.
Okay.
So whose idea was this out of between the two of you?
Me, but I just found it first. She knew. I knew.
Yeah, I
she'd be
knew about
into
it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know we have a lot of smokers in this group tonight, just so you know, and I'm a heavy vapor, so I usually smoke in between spaces. Try not to smoke while you're at this location, just out of respect for Eliza. She's a very prominent, prude English woman.
Okay.
And again, smokers, I think there was somebody else I think might be smoking too. I'm gonna have you guys like make sure you're in the back of the group. So
Okay.
just because it's actual cigarette smoke. I'm not, again, I'm a heavy smoker myself, so just gotta keep that in mind. So, any other major questions? You're getting the gist on how to listen to that, though?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just crank it up, whatever you hear. Have Tourette syndrome. Looks like she's going to remember everything you say anyway.
Okay. All right.
Where were you buried? Where are you buried?
My body.
Where's your body?
Your body's where? Together.
Together with who?
Where is your body?
Do you want me to keep asking questions?
Do it?
Do you want me to keep asking questions?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That'd be good.
Where was your garden?
Somewhere? Can you tell us where? Please?
Have you heard anything? I heard Charles and Cummins twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
I heard my body, and then I couldn't get any past my body. Yeah, that's it.
Oh gosh.
Wow, she got more than I did.
Maybe we don't know what those numbers meant.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
He said he was keeping information down.
that's true.
Which president was a pallbearer at your funeral?
She said I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Okay, we're not going to ask that question then.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, we'll move on to a different question.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Is there anything you want to tell us? Every day in church we pray.
Okay. Yeah. What did you like to do?
Was there anything you enjoyed doing?
What was?
So, what did she say when we asked her about the pallbearer? It's not something I want to say.
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. We have it
I'm not
recorded
gonna do
on
that.
this.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Get on with it. All right. Anything else going on?
Yeah. So we asked who was the president that was a pallbearer, and she said that's not something I want to do, or I'm not gonna do that, or something along those lines. So we just stopped asking that question. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, something along. She didn't want to answer that.
Okay.
Could also be
Yes.
relevant to what they heard.
Okay.
So Lila heard the word treadmill,
Okay.
and on the word list that Susan has, she has the word exercise.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it could be relevant to
We
that.
asked what she does for fun.
Yeah, we
What
did.
does she
We
like
asked.
to do?
Yeah.
But I will
It's
tell you
like
that the word
a-
treadmill was not used back in the 1700s. Was not a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But the word
Right.
exercise kind of ties into that. So they were like, they were joking about the fact that they heard the word treadmill. I'm like, you don't know that it's not relevant to those two young ladies who like sell treadmills for a living.
Because we did actually ask, like, what does she enjoy doing? Like, what is it that she wanted to do?
So
Okay.
And then-
things like that would be more wrapped around plants,
Okay.
farming,
Yeah.
soil. Like you would
Right.
hear those kind of gardening terms.
Oh, she
Okay.
said we pray every day.
Yeah,
Okay.
she said we
And-
go
We
to church and pray every
every
day.
day.
Yeah.
And the word Bible is on her word list as well.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes
so
sense. All
add on
right.
to that.
Okay.
So it's a vague stretch.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see where I'm like, I'm kind of excited about it. But
Yeah.
we actually have some clues going on with Big John right now are very, very specific. So to him, like again, asking how, what people like to do, I would expect all of the gardening terms because that's what she's known for is the
Right.
botany.
Okay.
But everything else is kind of like, it's leisurely conversation. Let's
Right.
get some facts. Like
Okay.
let's look for shit we can prove.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and by the way, feel free to swap amongst the two of you too.
Oh,
So,
wow, okay.
Yeah, so as
Yeah.
long as you guys are keeping it within who you came with, I'm
Yeah.
usually okay with it.
Okay.
By the way, what's your relationship here?
Friends.
My best friend.
Best
Yeah.
friend. For a long
Besties,
time.
got it.
Yeah.
For a long
I
time,
never
yeah.
know, so that's why I always ask. I have to put my foot in my mouth sometimes. And the two of you, what's your relationship here? I didn't ask you guys.
Do you want to hear some of this? It's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
You let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right. So, I have it down all the way. Just go this way, that way
So when
to.
you have anything in layers like that, there's a lot of
Cameras on this
Oh,
thing.
right. Okay. Yeah.
99%
Got it.
chance that it's foliage that is picking, even though it's off in the darkness. So I would look for something on the ground that looks like that. It's almost better to keep somebody in view so you have a height reference. Because again, some people like get the whole building of the church.
Yeah. So go the other way. Like.
No.
Yeah. There you go. Like this way. Yeah. You can. Yeah. And you're just gonna hear random shit.
stop.
I caught a lot like where if we're standing here, I got the camera on you. There's another figure here that's not in the
Don't stop. So, okay.
They're faced that way. And
Can you tell us where you were buried?
that to me is a question. Again, who did you bring with you?
I guess so.
Sometimes if you move too quick, it becomes almost like a shadow. That kind of moves.
Would you please divulge?
It will pick up on shadows on the ground. And it's not too deep on the wall, which may be a kind of bad. So I usually flat ground. Only because the shadows and absence of light.
Would you like to tell me?
Shadows on the front. So a lot of science. Sorry, I don't want to keep making fun of them, but they're really my only competitor. I have every right to do that. Interesting. Alright, I say we gather everybody up.
Did you
just
feel
to
like
kinda
you
show
served somebody when you were alive?
Alright, everybody, let's gather this one up. Let's kind of show you how this all pieces together. Got some color what else you had. Did you get any other numbers above 25? No. I'm still excited about your 30. So, cameras, give your hands a break if you'd like. So, Annie's like, I just got it. So she did go all the way up to a 30. Just so you guys know, the little blinky light device that I showed you earlier only goes to 25. So that's why I don't always use it, because we would have missed out on the 30. Now, the 30 is still above the average of what I normally see out of this location with no electricity. Here's some examples from things around your house. Your TV gives you a 40 to 60 milligauss if you were to set that behind your TV set. We just got almost up to the amount of your TV set. Your microwave goes up to about 150 to 170 when it's heating up your food. So it kind of gives you an idea based on the wattage of your microwave. The highest I've ever seen that device go in my 14 years of ghost hunting has been at this location. It errored out 3 times within 15 minutes and stayed in triple digits the remainder of that time. What does that mean? It went over 200 milligauss. We left. Here's why. I have epilepsy. It is too much electricity in the air for the guy with the neurological disorder, hence why you are my safety director. If that thing goes above triple digits, I'm excited, but I'm going to keep an eye on it and ask how you're feeling. Because again, that can cause us headaches if you stand next to your microwave for the entire 10 minutes it's heating up your food, right? So you guys get the point on that. So I am excited about the 30 because the average for this location is about an 18 to 22. And that's like 5 out of 7 nights a week, and that's the kind of spikes that we'll see out of that. We did get the name John and an anagram on the little Ouija board device. Who heard the number 20? That came out of somebody. So we did get the number 20, and then we got the word nod that was spelled out as well. So we had a nod to John. His jersey number was indeed 20. So I'm actually excited about that 3-piece correlation working together. So the numbers 15 and 24 were also heard by you?
24, I heard
20?
24, 15,
So you guys-
24, yeah.
50, oh, that was no, both. I know it came out of one of you. I was like,
Yeah.
who did it come out of?
Yeah.
I don't have a thing for that yet, so
Okay.
it might not mean anything. But names and numbers are facts. They usually don't lie. You guys got a lot of like go to church and pray
Yes,
and that kind of thing.
we did.
We also have the
Yeah.
word Bible on our word list. So again, could be a correlation, a little vague on my end. Let's cover the rest of these answers. Lila got to come in while she was back here. The house was up there, so I'm wondering if she was almost just like inviting her to go capture more things up in the house, because that's where she may have been. So let me show you how this all pieces
I
together.
was like over there in the corner, like over there.
Oh, so you were actually up in the, so that still would have been like that top right corner for us would have been the carriage house. So the house would still be a little bit more off to the left. Whenever I break out the tablet, I do go around the table so you guys can all see what I'm showing off here. It also helps me remind me of all of the answers. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. Maiden name being Lucas. The first wife was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So you can see where the two Eliza L's can be a little confusing. This wife was 22 years old when she married Charles. He was 45. So very creepy age gap between the two. I don't think we have a couple that's in between that age gap now. Sometimes I gotta put my foot in my mouth. But you can kind of see how that works out when we do get 22 or 45. And they were married in 1744. So Mike actually had the question of what happened to the mansion. This is fire damage. So this is exactly where you're standing, by the way. So this, when we do get the word fire, burning, or blaze, which we did not in real time tonight, we will get 2 or 3 numbers from the date. December 11th of 1861. 12/11/61.
I heard 18 somewhere.
18?
I just heard 18.
Okay, so I'll write that one down. I still don't know what that one is. By the way, what's today's date? Does anybody know?
Today's the 25th.
25th. Tomorrow is Eliza's birthday. So
Oh, wow.
stop and remember like what the dates were. The 27th is actually her wedding anniversary. So we're actually dealing with 2 things this week. So I'm really surprised we didn't get higher spikes than 30. Just hoping that she was going to give us a whole lot more. But by the way, when I hear things like 12/11/61 and fire all on the same night, that's how I learn about these things. Everything I'm telling you tonight came from a previous investigation. So it's not like the city of Charleston says, hey, you have to go teach these people about these specific things. What tourist coming here to an empty parking lot? Nobody. Just this weirdo. So, by the way, this is the fire that took out the mansion. This is a map of Charleston. It literally went from one side of the peninsula all the way to the other. This is about $9 million worth of damage back then. So we don't even know what that equates to now because inflation changed again yesterday. Because we're in those kind of times. Let's see. The children. I did not give you guys any questions about the children on purpose because I don't hand those questions to strangers because you guys may unintentionally make Eliza a little angry. So let's show you what I'm looking for when I get to the office. 4 kids grand total. Charles, you already know about. We did get the name Charles, didn't we? So Charles, signer of the Constitution. Next child, Thomas, fought in a Revolutionary War battle, shot in his left leg after being captured by the British. You can see the very specific clues that will show up around Thomas. We got none of those tonight. He was left on a cane and a limp for the rest of his days. The next child is where things get weird for some of you. Baby George. You can already see where this one's going.
Or like, I just heard math class important or something like that.
You heard what?
Like important or something.
Important. George was important. June of 1747. He was born and passed. He didn't make it. His death certificate only says June of 1747 in both the birth and death columns. We do not have dates of either of those. I have a guesstimate. You wouldn't name a child back then until they were christened or baptized. And that takes at least 2 weeks if they know that the child is ill from birth. I'm going to guess that George was about 2 weeks old, roughly, when he passed. The other odd thing about George, he does not have a headstone or a grave. I have another theory. The church may have allowed the family to mummify him and keep him in a tomb right here in the home, waiting for mom to pass away so he could be buried with her. It's kind of creepy and endearing all at the same time, depending on how you look at it. So, it's going to get more weird when I tell you about Eliza's death, but there is one more child. Her name's Harriet. I don't talk about her much because we don't hear from her much. She marries Daniel Ory. If you're not familiar with our coast, Ory County is Myrtle Beach. That's 2.5 hours north of here. Wouldn't have been a 2.5 hour car ride for Eliza. Lots of letter writing instead. When we do hear from Harriet, quill, ink, paper, published, things like that dealing with letter writing. Let's move on to Eliza's death. Last bit. She was 70 years old when she passed away. First off, that's a long time for a woman to be alive back then. And she was going to Philadelphia getting treatments for whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what that was in 1793, the year that she passed away. We're going based off of her medical records. She died in Philly. She's buried in Philly. This should raise 2 questions in the back of everybody's brain. First one, Baby George. My theory's true. We're taking his tomb from here and moving it all the way to Philadelphia by horse and carriage. That's a long trek. You guys all look old enough to remember the game Oregon Trail. Somebody's going to die of dysentery on that trip because it's going to be at least 3 weeks long. The other weird thing is that Eliza is buried in Philadelphia. So what the heck are we doing here in the middle of an empty parking lot? I don't take you to cemeteries because it is minimal activity at best. Regardless of whatever they're showing you on TV shows and YouTube, there are ghosts coming in and out of there, and obviously I like to build a relationship with these people so that way I can learn more about them. And none of you are going to hang out near your headstone when you're gone. You're going to go to your mansions 400 miles away. This is where the raised emotion is. She raised her family here, learned about her indigo, and fell in love here. This is where she's going to continue to visit. So, let's see. Who wants to take a guess who the president was that was the pallbearer at the funeral? It was Washington. How'd you know that? Doing dates. So 1793. She did it by deductive reasoning, and I'm actually glad for that. The rest of you passed with a fail. Let me explain. When we got over here, I told y'all I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose every single night. The reason why is because I put George Washington in the back of your brains to see who's going to give it back to me during the round robin. None of you did that, but in the event that Lila said, I think it was George Washington, even though I didn't hear it, I'm going to take her spirit box and give it to somebody else that she came with, because I don't want her repeating all the same things I've already said. Does that make sense? So good on you for doing it by deductive reasoning. I appreciate that. Again, passing with a fail with me is a good thing. But again, Washington's own request, he wanted to be a pallbearer for her, just because of her indigo. It helped get her country started. It was a big deal. Let's see. Bleed over. We could have gotten things from Big John over here, which we proved that we did. And we could have had Pinckney Mansion stuff over there, close enough in proximity, even though the 2 ghosts are from 2 different centuries. We see it all the time. Where we're going, I'm relying on that bleed over. We're going into an alley where other tours might be. We don't have access to the full alley. So when we get in there, I'm going to go in there and stir shit up, and we're going to leave. We're going to go across the street, and I will give you another piece of history, and all of you communication devices will be getting things from both locations at that stop and along the way from here to there. Along the way, we're going to turn your sensitivity down just a hair, so we're going to go back this way. EMF readings along the way, Danny, ignore them. The crosswalks and parking meters make your device go off. Ghosts are not following us. When we get into the alley, start at an 8. So there's going to have to be some lamp posts there. So they give off a little bit of electricity. Spirit box communication devices, and yes, Mike, you will unmute along the way. People are just going to look at you weird because we're going to be cutting through the market. Bless you.
Thank you.
When we get into the alleyway, we'll stop and you guys will tell me all the things you heard on your spirit box so I can write them all down at the same time. Cameras, we will not record until we get into the alley. So when we do get in there, you guys are like perfect. The nice belly shot, because other tours might be in there and they're still going to be staring at us anyway. They didn't pay to get filmed. Just kind of keep that in mind. But when we hit that brick road making a left, just hit that start button and keep it running for the entire time that we are in there. So, questions, comments, concerns. Nobody's following us as far as ghosts, in case anybody was wondering that again. So, Lila, continue listening. You got this. We're actually going to go up this way. Danny's trying to lead the way this way. All right, let's go learn about killing people. We got this. And you can just grab that by the top handle and carry it like a purse. Oh yeah, we don't need to recreate the rest of the time. So we'll try to keep the camera pointed one way or the other. We're here, it's super easy. Just grab the handle and put it up the side. And we'll throw that. It's not very important. So get your white buttons when it starts. If anything, typically you just walk by. This is going straight. So welcome to Jeweler's Alley, everybody. This is actually a location I'm going to be taking out of my routes because every ghost tour comes here. It's very warm down here, especially in summer. It's going to be about 25 degrees warmer another 2 months, so you know. In July, it gets really hot. But anyway, I was going to take it out because it's kind of a big old cliche, but again, this guy follows me around a little bit because we do get near all of his hot spots, all of his emotional rays, right? So let's talk about why we're here. You kind of already knew about this story, I'm guessing. So this used to be called Jeweler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal and they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of them. We're all telling the same story. I'm giving you a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. You're not on the campfire and marshmallow kind of ghost tour like they are over there. Did I say that out loud? I sure did. Anyway, a doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So TANA with your device, I actually bought that device for this location because we were getting the letters RI in Rhode Island all the time on regular spirit box like this, but on doors to make sure that we had it. As far as the spirit boxes, if you guys are listening over here and you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's part of the doctor's name, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So it's not coincidence, we get it here all the time. Anyway, Doc moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she's an attorney handling all of this cash flow for her, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So he moves here to Charleston to prove that he's not. He's going to start his benefit. You hear Brown? See, she's on it. Love it.
She's got it.
I know, right? So on his way into town, he's proving that he's not after Amanda's cash, but he has a coachman on his way in, and the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay here in Charleston. It's like having a bad Uber driver today, if you really think about it. But anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from, R.I. So whenever I bring up Ralph's name, it's when we've had the R.I. show up. We actually had one last week. It's at maid number 7. So that's funny. She's going to the stop where I normally take my groups, like right in front of that gate, because everybody likes to see what's around the gate, but they're kind of in our way, so I didn't want to interrupt them, so I stopped this early. But anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 3rd Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. The two gents became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. Okay? Kind of hard. Where the heck we were? He's making more money, and Amanda gets wind of this. So she's moving down here so that way they can be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the whistling doctor. This is why I hate this story. It's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you will ever visit in your entire life will have a cliche whistling ghost. Ours just happens to be a doctor. Moving forward, Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money at the hierarchy of Charleston. So they go see Richard III one night, and they are arguing on their way home about the actress that they just saw that was new to town. Neither one of them had seen her before, and Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic. Well, Ralph did it. Then he starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island, and it got really nasty, and they went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town, like I said before, so he goes to his friends at the newspaper and tells them, we're going to let these folks pass and settle this once and for all. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. Just like to point that out because it was really dumb. We are in the 1780s at this point. So anyway, the two gentlemen came down here. They went back to back, took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned. The The doc points his gun in the air and shoots his one shot in the air. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up. But Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doc didn't die, but he fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. It is 1786, and gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. Probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed. He died. Now,
I heard like take one or something.
take one. I like when we get the word like 10 or pace, because they take 10 paces away from each other. Every ghost tour that comes down here tells their guests to listen for the whistles. We have 2 cameras plus my voice recorder running right now. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, it's more than likely going to come up on one of those 3 devices. By the way, it is usually this quiet even on a busy Saturday afternoon. So again, it's kind of a creepy thing.
Like a woman's voice, I heard
Probably not a term they would use back in the 60s. Okay. Now, I will tell you that I have caught several times on the regular spirit boxes that we're recording with the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately after. So it's happened dozens of times. It's part of the reason why I haven't taken this out of my route yet. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and use your voice recorders from your phone and walk all the way through here trying to capture those whistles, just remember that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley whenever we walk by it, because that's what we do here in Charleston. And I do it ever since I've been thrown out of here. Let's talk about that, because that's the fun part of the story. This alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there before it became Dueler's Alley. The reason why is because it was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So what does that mean for you? That means that the bricks on the other side are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint in one of those bricks from a slave child, and fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson, because that, you guys already know how I feel about cemeteries. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. It was a history lesson, nothing paranormal. We all need to see how far we've come from slavery. So November 26, 2020, I took my entire group all the way through, and they all huddled around that one brick with the handprint in it, waiting for something to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along. I know nothing's going to happen, and we're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. So that new owner of that mansion came out screaming. I was just trying to be respectful and trying to move us along quickly. However, I didn't realize that we were out of bounds for tours. I was still new at this. So he came out screaming. My daughter, who was about Lila's age at the time, thought it was hysterical because her father was getting yelled at. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I used to work in upper management for Walmart. You all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I'm never working on Thanksgiving another day ever. So the next day was the 28th. The dates are relevant. I called my partner that brought me into tourism, and I told him what happened with the neighbor down the road, and he laughed at me. He's just like my daughter did, by the way, just as hysterical. And he says, "You're only allowed to go down halfway, dude. Other than that, it's residential. You got to reroute your group." When I told my group that night, because it's Black Friday, I'm sold out again. I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. Obviously, we're discussing pirates next. And before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be going to dive into. The female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll get something. I took him around the corner, told him what I knew about pirates in Charleston, which wasn't much because I only had a quick day to research, and somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what it means. I write it down. We were there November 28th of 2020, Anne Bonny's trial for piracy. November 28th of 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I normally get a lot of like head nods and like, wow, that's pretty cool stuff. I was actually quite ticked off because I have a master's degree in creative writing. Everything I do has to be factual. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. That's a problem for me. That means when you guys find something, I have to read a ton of books to verify it. Luckily for you, by this time, I've already read all of the ton of books on piracy. So we're at a good point. So when we get over there, it's a 50-50 shot if she'll be there at the same time we are. I'll explain why once we get there, but we'll also be expecting to bleed over from, obviously, Dr. Ladd. So a lot of times you guys forget about some of the details about Dr. Ladd, which is even better, because if you forget things and you hear something, and I'm like, oh, that's because of this with the doc. So you guys will see once we get over there. I will speed through that story as quickly as possible so we can all get back to work. What do we have going on with our devices before we leave here and go talk about pirates? You're all doubled up on nothing. On that end, and the word tiny. Like, who's tiny? Yeah, a whole lot of nothing on your end. You're still at double zeros. Any words being spelled out for us? And did you hear anything, or were you focused on me?
Not yet.
Okay, you were on mute. Lydia, did you hear anything else?
I heard now turn.
Now turn. He usually likes to give us direction when we enter the space. He'll say left or things like now turn, which is odd. All right, so cameras, if you want to leave them on until we get up and around the corner, you can, just because we are just going around the corner. Otherwise, if you want to give your hands a break, you can stop them either way. All right, let's go learn about crazy rated R pirates. Nobody got my dad joke. I heard one little chuckle. I got to take it a step further. So if the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, what is it?
The C.
It must be the C. Good job, Anahita. I appreciate it. Too many times I get I. I'm like, that's bad. And it gets hot down here, doesn't it? What was it? Hello. Anahita? We gotta get you better at this.
When we came out, I'm sorry, I got hum, and then I've got love, but it's a scramble, Loves.
You said home before that?
Hum, H.
Okay.
Then I got loves, Loves, but it's a scramble like John Bill.
Hell? Okay. Okay. Anahita, we gotta get you. This will at this location. So just so you know,
She's smoking.
okay. Oh, so there's a smoker in every group. I'm a vapor too. So. What's funny is that she's smoking here because we are going to be discussing pirates, and when we separate, I said if you brought a bottle of rum and you're a smoker, have at it. You'll probably attract her closer to you. So I usually say break out the tobacco and rum. So again, it's a thing. There's a reason why my vape is flavored Cuban, so I can actually smoke while we're here. This location, a lot of tour groups come through here, but they don't always discuss the same things that we are. So we're going to be discussing that little tiny building up there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses on that building, in case you are wondering. They are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what that is, it's a turnbuckle. It goes all the way through to the other side. It looks just like that. And if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, you tighten the turnbuckles. It's supposed to tighten the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, isn't it? But it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring them up is because you guys have seen them all over town in the form of lion heads and pineapples. Even this apartment building has them on every single floor. It's just part of our Charleston charm. The reason I point out the crosses is because part of the reason why we're here. That's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. This building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. This is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch the YouTubers and the TV shows, you might have seen the new device that came out last year called the Boo Buddy. It is a teddy bear with a little blinky light device in it that if a child comes near it, the lights go off and the teddy bear says, "Ooh, that tickled," like the old Teddy Ruxpin bears, right? Yeah, it's kind of a creepy thought.
Yeah.
But they do that and they use it so that way the child will recognize the bear as a toy. I want you to think of that concept with this building. We don't have many buildings this old, but it is from Anne's time era. So we're hoping that she's going to be here at the same time we are. Otherwise, we're going to be relying on the bleed over from Dr. Ladd. Anyway, the building took 10 years to build. Adults in the room, does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. You guys got the point. That was a joke. You're supposed to laugh. Mike, good job. Our history begins right in the middle of its construction. So I will speed through this except for some of the twists. I will slow down on the piratey twist because we are talking about a badass female pirate. So 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She came here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? That little small twist. Good. Three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she kicked him out of the damn country? So, Mike, be nice to her. She might kick you all out to Canada. It's usually the only joke I have because you're the only guy here. But anyway, so let's kind of get through this. So they moved here. They landed in Georgetown. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quick. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was said to be a badass even when she was a little girl, 7, 8, 9 years old. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. I just like to give you the mentality of this young lady as we kind of move through her history. 13, the building's done. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Reason why? She's going to fall in love with one of these pirates so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during these times. First guy she fell in love with. I said first slowly because there's a handful. We're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so interesting. First guy is James Bonnie. You already see where this one's going. I told you her pirate name already. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Ann Cormack became Ann Bonnie. That's where her pirate name came from. Now, when she gets down there, she's married, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. That makes him a spy for the British and a coward. This is not who she wanted. She fell in love again. Guy number 2. I'll keep track for you. Guy number 2 is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering. He is a real person. Calico Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew, and wants to be part of that pirate crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Family friendly, Mike. We got a 13-year-old girl here. Nobody knows why.
Consent wasn't a big.
It's bad luck, guys. It's
Okay.
simple. You're overthinking it. The reason why I asked that question out loud, just to make sure, A, you're paying attention, and I like to see the little bit of awkwardness, like I'm not answering that question. So anyway, it is bad luck, so you need to deal with it. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this. Reason why, Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But we're all manly adults here. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant, and you can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and will vote Jack off as captain. So Jack drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here with these friends of mine, come back later, we'll figure it out when you get back. She goes and has that baby, returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. None of my research has ever discovered it. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. Now, we didn't know he let a girl on the ship. To make Jack even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the crew that Calico Jack was captured. Now we have 2 females, dressed like male pirates on the same ship. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Anne and Mary became friends, maybe lovers, we're not really sure because of the time era. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships, take down 1 pirate ship. Rumor is Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates that were not drunk enough to come up with 1 bullet flintlock to try to play it off with this fleet of ships. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1 bullet guns cannot take on the cannons. They get arrested. And as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her bow and captain, Jack, says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you would be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up on your communication devices a lot here, by the way. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front, reveal the gender, and hoping to save themselves, the judge does not care that they're female. They're still pirates, he's going to hang them anyway. "We plead our bellies," is what they shouted back to the judge, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we're not really sure. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know anything about Anne that's truthful after her pirate career. Mary Reed died 5 months later from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. I'm not going to control this environment like what I did at the Pinckney Mansion for the respect factor. Ask whatever you want, but here's a few things I left out on purpose. I did not tell you the name of Anne Bonnie's parents on purpose, so you have something to work with. The name of the ship that she joined with Calico Jack, where she grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. Everything else is fair game. Ask whatever you want to here. Again, if you smoke cigarettes and you brought a bottle of rum, have at it. You'll probably attract her closer to you. So again, stay away from the vehicles. But again, if you want to get closer to the building, there is a little wall up there that you can actually sit and listen if you wanted to do that. There's a little ledge where you can sit down. That's where we're going to end up when we're done here anyway. Anything I need to know about before we spread apart?
We were talking about the first Jack. She said, like, after the line, and then, like, we got, it was like something like,
Danny, just so you know, I get
I
excited
heard the name
about a
Manny.
2.5 in here.
Manning?
Manny.
Right. That's an anomaly by
M-A-N-N-Y. Manny.
Don't have it.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
It's man.
Transformers and Kirk.
Whose name is Manny? That's weird.
Ford was 6, don't get excited.
We don't know.
Right? So she's in the back half. You said you have to work home.
Okay.
We don't know.
Think you want to go out?
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
We'll keep that.
I love how you're doing the anagrams. I don't
Okay,
often
let's go.
see folks do that, so I appreciate it.
That's the, I got like a
I'm gonna tell him.
You ask the questions. I
Okay.
can't hear what you're asking, so
Okay.
yeah.
She heard Manny.
Manny?
Manny, M-A-N-N-Y. Okay. And what was the color of your hair? What was your dad's name?
Grace?
Grace. What was your mom's name? Do you want to smoke a cigarette? That's a yes or no question.
In her own way.
Oh, okay.
What did you ask?
Do you want to smoke a cigarette?
In her own way.
I asked what color hair she had, and
Yeah.
she said brown, like in a female voice.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
You're getting more than I am. I'm getting nothing.
I'm gonna try to like figure out, and it's like all I hear is like Nicki Minaj or like.
Yeah, I know. I'm
swear.
just right. I know. I'm
Things are
just
gonna be
hearing
popping
random like
pretty soon.
songs. Yeah, music.
Twerking.
Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Country.
Okay.
I heard literally
Literally?
the dang thumbs up guys injury lawyers just that was a whole lot of nothing. Yeah.
Injury lawyer. Huh.
Injury lawyers. Thumbs up guys. What can we have? Okay.
What was it like on the boat? On the ship?
Beautiful.
Did you... What kind of relationship did you and the woman have? Who did you love the most?
Experienced. I mean, I'm like hearing the song Hey Ya.
Okay.
10 years ago,
What happened 10 years ago?
what happened 10 years ago? Hi. Hi. How are you?
Can I put this in here? Is the doctor here?
How are you? Good. I run this parking lot. If you guys are not paid to park in this lot, you guys can't be congregating in the lot. Okay. I appreciate it. The church doesn't want people congregating in the lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it. We'll get it for everybody else. All right, everybody. So we're going to have to go to the front of the building. Alright, so we'll just kind of meet here for just a second. You guys can tell me what else you guys may have heard. So,
Trap.
trap. I just heard free something out of your guys' spirit box.
She said Grace.
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 So in the 4 years that I've been coming here, that's only the second time that somebody's ever said anything to us because every tour comes here. So. Right? And it's always been on a weekend night. Because again, I do this 7 nights a week. So about 250 times a year I'm out here. I'm like, I have to pick this guy up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him and we took him over to that wall. So he's sitting out about a he was okay for me to continue. I told my story of Van Bonnie and told everybody to spread out because this used to be the last stop. So they all spread out, but the two guys stay behind and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are two transgender males. I had two females dressed like males, just like Anne and Mary in the story on the tour. It made sense, but it was still completely unexplained. These are the weird things. So again, take those things for what they are. That either warning was not a scare tactic. Like, it's a legitimate thing. It's the same thing with the jail. I'm not taking you there, especially with my gear. Again, we never know what the hell's going to happen to you guys. So let's cover the very quick answers for the Anne Bonnie bit, and then we're going to take a walk over to Washington Park, where we're going to do this blindfold experiment. Timrod, I got two ladies on the bench tonight. I'm sure you can see them already. Dr. Ladd likes to show up during this location too because his house is nearby. So just don't be surprised if we get something, because we do have somebody named Amanda under the bench and she probably didn't remember that Dr. Ladd may be coming through here. But Henry, if you can hear us, I need you to give me something about your occupation, please. Just to kind of verify that you're here. Can you tell us what you did for a living? Sorry, it takes a minute to do that. You might get 0 images, you might get 12, and you never know. So all you're going to do is look straight ahead. It'll align with you, but it may be blurred, so that's your turn dial to focus. Okay? Yes,
Yeah.
we're waiting on you. Just tell us whatever you hear. Henry, we're technically starting now, so we're going to
Laughing?
10:43. Henry, we're asking you about your occupation, just like we always do. Can you tell us what you did for a living? I know it's pretty crowded in here tonight, and we're here a little earlier than we normally are. I know you don't like the crowds, but Henry, if you could tell us what you did for a living, that would be fantastic. So you guys on the other devices are looking for like writing, ink, anything relative to letter writing?
A pencil.
Pencil? Okay, I'll take it. Henry, can you tell us what you did? Can you give us a little bit more? And Lydia, the minute you see a new image, just let us know. Henry, we hear something coming out of the church. Can you tell us what's coming out of the church? I feel bad. She's like getting eaten alive by moths.
Thank you. I think it went down my shirt. Sorry.
Henry, whatever. What sound did we just hear out of the church? I ask like real-time questions like that because that answer has literally come up on every device that can communicate. That even spelled out on your end.
It's
Still zeros.
room.
Yeah.
House.
What kind of room?
Building. Possibly. That's like a studio.
Recreation?
Is there any stage or anything? Just a podium. Would it be like a church? Maybe like a pastor?
Maybe
A small church?
like a 4 years.
Okay. And you guys will be able to see these images before we leave. So, and they also come up in your report. Like I'm able to upload them all to your report.
I think the doctor's here. He said doc.
Doc. Dr. Ladd, the young lady that can hear you, is named Amanda. If that rings any bells, let me know. But Dr. Ladd also has a code word to let me know he's here. That word is purple. So if she says purple or it shows up on our word list, let me know.
We had pink.
Yeah, pink. It's not purple. Henry, or Dr. Ladd, this is Amanda. She can hear whatever you want us to hear.
24/7 protection.
Henry. And Lila, you can,
Spiritual
you can
initiation.
spit out whatever you're hearing too. Okay. You said 2.7. Saw 2.7.
I did too as soon as I flipped it. Now that was
So
it.
the faster you move that, it picks up on the energy it takes to move it.
Okay, so maybe that's where the 2 was then. Okay. It's like a
419.
What happened to you?
What kind of like forest, like a lot of trees? Like what do we cheap trees?
like trees.
Okay.
Or columns.
I'm very interested in this podium you saw earlier. Henry or Dr. Ladd, if you can let Amanda know anything about you specifically.
Something comes along that's truly revolutionary.
Holy cow! That was a lot. Henry, what did you do for a living? Dr. Ladd, we have the word doc that showed up on the other little box that we use. And Please
You were
take note that
there.
I'm not naming what these devices are like they do on your YouTube videos. Like, they don't know what these things are. They're just boxes with lights. You got pink again? Doc, we need your code word, not the word pink.
Charleston.
Maybe
All
it's
right.
ink. Maybe it's ink.
Ink, okay.
Okay,
No, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe it's ink and
yeah.
not pink.
Because he did write with ink. He is from the 1800s.
Female.
He didn't write emails.
I said female.
Oh, female. I thought you said email. Dr. Ladd,
Love.
who is Amanda to you?
I love.
Who is Amanda? These plugs are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had, what, 2 images so far? Eddie? By the way, did you guys notice that that group walking
Eliminate?
by was all watching what you guys were doing?
Yeah.
Like, they have an infrared.
I
She's
don't
on
know
the
who you
infrared.
are.
You do know who I am, Dr. Ladd. We're waiting for you to verify yourself.
Respect.
Henry, are you asking for the respect piece? Because I can read a little bit of your work. Normally I get the please give me recognition.
Heard
Those kind of pieces will show up.
You heard purple?
My ears like kind of glitchy.
Henry, we're still waiting on your occupation, please. You could show us in the blue box. I know it's a different colored box now, but it's blue. And this is Lydia. She can see whatever you want us to see. I'm sure she doesn't want to stare at the space that I put in there.
Father.
Amanda was not your father.
You hear bleeding?
Yep. Ice, ice, ice.
We all
You'll
need
be
a
able to
little
go
ice.
back through yours and hear that.
Henry, we've been under for about 6 minutes already. Down to about 4 minutes left. Henry. Occupation, please. You doing okay? Yeah, it's also very warm out here, so
We just get a breeze, we'll be fine.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. It's humid.
She had somebody tell her that from up north that they weren't going to come back down south if it was too humid. And there, someone just smoking cigarettes with.
Go away.
Henry.
Just heard go away.
Heard go away.
Heard go away.
Okay. I normally don't take that as a sign, but unless I ask for it, but Henry will say the word home if he wants us to leave.
Fire.
Fire. On what? Just a fire?
Fire.
Like in a fireplace fire?
Just fire.
Just fire.
Huh?
A whole lot of nothing going on.
You were the one.
Henry, we heard something from the church earlier. Can you tell us what it was?
You went home?
Saturday.
It is Saturday in today's world.
Their stories.
Henry, be specific. I am here frequently, every damn night. He's not always happy about me being here. I'll point that out.
I've been thinking too much.
Okay. Henry, because it's so warm and we haven't really heard much, if you throw us one more image, we'll call it quits and we will go home.
Yeah,
You need to be more specific than
worked
that.
out for you.
Can you give us one more image? Something relevant to you personally? Or you can say the word home. We'll take the hint.
No.
She just heard it twice.
Heard what?
Home twice.
You heard home? Henry? We're going to wrap it up. Can you tell us goodnight? It's been about 9 minutes. So, Henry going once. One more image. Going twice. Give us an image, Henry. We'll wrap it up.
Got the word limp. Does that mean anything?
No.
Scared.
What was before scared?
Limp.
Limp.
And I got scared.
Well, it could be doctor. He did one shot in the kneecap.
Language.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna call it. Just go ahead and tap her on the kneecap, and then Lydia, go ahead and peel that thing off your face. I know we only had a few images, but we're gonna take a look at those.